remember that they're changing my voice. So a huge part of what should happen is that people need to explain to the governing class why they don't look good. Society needs to admit that they don't look good, regardless of their cars, their vehicles, their houses, their boats, what have you, their jewelry. And they need to explain why. Why, if Cruella de Vil looked more like Belle, would she still not look good? Because it's context. If you put a gold ring in a pig's snout, it's ugly. You put a fake gold ring in a pig's snout and swear that it is gold. Does that pig look good? Does that ring look good? No. So that's a huge part of this. So as we look at society, we know that people learn differently and people struggle with some jobs and they don't struggle with some jobs, right? There's different types of people. Really, they're different species. We don't tell a fish or a cat to tow a cart, right? Historically, right? We tell the horse in one way or another, or an ox, what have you. And so it is with people. So when it comes to the HUD plan, it is very disrespectful because the system is not structured fairly. First of all, there's not a war on poverty plan. They should be spending like $200 billion a year in wealth taxes, what have you, to build housing in a very cost-effective way with the FBI tracking the money and making sure the money is put to good use, and also for food programs and so on and so forth. They should restructure the school system for people who learn differently to learn that way, people who learn in a traditional way to learn the way they're learning, and they need to reduce the course load. You know, as it stands, I'm going to go ahead and throw out a number and say over half the students that go to school hardly learn anything. They go to school for years and years and years, first through, 12th, years and years and years, and they go to college, years and years, they hardly learn anything. Why are they being tortured and learning very little? Reduce the course load. Get rid of biology, get rid of physics. Compact the history lessons because they don't retain that much information in regards to history anyway. Focus on English. For people who don't need advanced math, don't have them take it. For people who do need it, have them take it. If people want to take physics and biology, let those people take those courses. But have a much shorter school day for people who don't need that excess nonsense. This is why they go on welfare. It's also the job system. Okay, look at it carefully. Look at how people learn. Look at who suffers in what job, to what degree, and why. Lots of people, almost everyone doesn't like going to work, so to speak. But some people suffer more in some jobs than others. So when you talk about able body, it's not as simple as are they in a wheelchair or not. We also have to consider brain activity. Okay, and what's fair? Because you haven't been considering these things and people have been gaming the system, you owe the poor lots of money, but you don't just give them money, they will just screw it off because they're not disciplined to spend effectively. Now some people will say, well, that's not your call. It actually is my call. I'm the only one using his head. Should insanity run society or sanity? Is the Constitution greater than a popular vote? Or is a popular vote something that you can have to decide whether or not you can rape and throw a kid in a blender for no reason? Think about it. Some principles transcend popular vote, and justice is one of them. The principles of justice transcend a popular vote, and there are moral absolutes. You don't have a counter argument for it. The argument of the opposition is like a bunch of people saying that they want to be able to rape an attractive female for no reason, torture and throw in a blender for a psychological ritual. Okay? And I say, hey, there are moral absolutes that tell us that that's wrong. And they say, no, you can't prove that. Says who? It's not your call. Which side do you think is right? This is not rocket science here. It's not being the top martial artist or brain surgeon here. It's straightforward. And so it is with wealth distribution, with the economy and use and consumption, with management of resources, with how we deal with scarcity. It is not rocket science. Your system is unfair, okay? And you don't just give drug addicts a blank check. You look at this thing, you build housing, you do food programs, you restructure the school system. You have a bunch of people get together and talk about things effectively and with no ulterior motives. Everything that your government has done is wrong. Sometimes they're closer to right, but it's wrong. The new plan for the HUD or whatever, okay, is wrong. It's wrong to tell people in a slave society, slave wage society, that because we trampled you to the point where you're on welfare, when no one anywhere near their right mind would just be lazy and collect a welfare check, it's something you did to them. To tell them now, go work at McDonald's, go to job training, okay? You didn't give them a fair chance to start with, to get on their feet, to get a good job. We would have had robots long ago if you treated people fairly. You held people back, and the smartest people in American history were screened out. They are not the inventors now. They were screened out because when you're smart, you don't go along with white, Jewish, and LGBT supremacy or any other racial supremacy. You insist on justice. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of the wisdom. The fear of not being moral is the beginning of wisdom. So you have a bunch of dumbasses occupying jobs of importance and doing a horrible job. And then you turn around and tell people that you have disenfranchised into next week, go to the plantation for 20 hours a week and suck our fucking dicks, and we'll throw you a bone or two. And your budget for them is laughable. $412 million or so from the federal government for homeless services? That's laughable. You get more from the state of California is doing more than that. That's laughable. So as you look at this thing, you must know that number one, yes, people from welfare should be taking steps in the right direction to learn job skills. But point number two, the society in its existing form is not sufficient for your plan to be moral. It's not dignified to pretend that whites, Jews, and LGBT people, mildly autistic people, and nerds are the pinnacle of human, intelligence or something. That's fucking retarded. That is fucking sick. In your own books, your own dictionaries, nerds are defined as foolish and contemptible and worthless and boringly studious. So the more people aren't like a dumb fuck, the more your system is designed to make them poor, and then say, hey, go fucking shovel shit, pal, because you're not a geek-ass bitch that the system is designed to uphold. That's fucking sick. Shame on you people. So this video is not about making fun of nerds or gays, but they've sort of teamed up together here with the rich people in the churches, and there's people playing a contrast game where they try to pretend that they're the good guy while this plays out. Frankly, you cannot trust anyone but me. And you have to rally to me in person to know that I'm the one saying this. It's pretty straightforward.